She's so fine. Helluva blows my mind. Helluva lights my day.
What's good, guys? Today is Thursday, January the 12th, 2023. This video will be regarding the Zkira Kemp case. For those of you who have not heard this case, it is one of the most bizarre, haunting stories. It's a mother's worst nightmare is what it is. It's coming out of Killeen, Texas. And I want to thank especially Dee Walsh for turning me on to this case. She had sent me a video from another YouTuber. And I didn't watch it because I was busy covering the Shanquella Robinson case. And she called me and she's like, "Did you watch that video?" And I'm like, "Not yet." And she's like, "Watch it and call me back." When I watched this video, I couldn't even believe it. It's that disturbing, guys. And it has cover up written all over it. Now, it may take me a couple of videos to get this out, but I will get it out. And I am on this case. Please believe me. Now, Zkira Kemp had just came out of her sophomore year at Prairie View A M University, HBCU in Prairie View, Texas. And she went home for the summer with her mom, Jalanda Kemp. And they lived in Killeen, Texas. And her best friend, Rhonda Tinsley, who had been her best friend since freshman year of high school, came with her. And she was also a student at Prairie View A M. And also Rhonda's boyfriend, Michael Dukes, who was also actually first friends with Zkira. But they were all three just the best of friends, okay? So they all come home to Killeen, Texas for summer break. And they left on June the 30th of 2022 to go back to Prairie View because they were all going on a road trip to Maryland to celebrate Rhonda's 21st birthday. And there are really four of them. And the fourth one is Aydon Fair. And he wanted them to travel to Maryland because his dad had a lake house there. And that's where they would celebrate Rhonda's 21st birthday. So, Zkira had never been there before. This was pretty much her first big trip without family being present. And so, they left early to go to Prairie View because Zkira had to get her hair done. And she was going to run Rhonda and Michael around to get items they needed for the trip, etc. And then they were going to leave from Prairie View to head to Maryland. Now, Jalanda talked to Zkira specifically about leaving her location of her phone on. Make sure you keep that location on at all times. You might be grown, but you ain't grown till you leave home. That type of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's still her baby. So, the three of them hit the road early on Sunday, July the 3rd of 2022. And after 20 plus hours of driving, they arrived in Hanover, Maryland. In the evening of Monday, July the 4th, 2022. Now, Miss Jalanda works the night shift, okay? And she was periodically checking Zkira's location. And so, when she went to work on Thursday, July the 7th, she worked the 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. shift. And so at 10:30 p.m. on July the 7th, Jalanda says she checked Zkira's location and it showed she was at this bowling alley area. So she was like, okay, cool. So when Jalanda got off at 1 a.m., while she's standing there ready to clock out at the time clock, now this is Friday, July the 8th, 2022 now, she checked the location and it was turned off. So She was like, all right, it's 2 o'clock there in the morning. So I'm going to wait and give her till tomorrow. But we're going to have a chit chat about this location being turned off because I didn't told her. You know what I mean? So little did she know that it was around this time that allegedly Zkira was involved in a car accident. We'll get to that in just a minute, though. So Jalanda goes home, does her routine, goes to bed, and it bothers her because she said she slept so peacefully that night. And that really bothered her because here her baby was going through hell, really. She woke up on the 8th at 7 a.m. So she got off at 1 a.m., went home, went to bed, woke up at 7 a.m., and she had no call, no text from Zkira. But later that afternoon, she got a call from her friend, from Jalanda's friend, from her own friend, Lakeisha Coles. And she told her that Aydon's mama was trying to get a hold of her because something was going on with these kids. So Jalanda asked Lakeisha, well, what's going on with the kids? Lakeisha told her nothing except that Aydon's mom needed to speak to her. Well, that kind of put Jalanda in a frantic state. And so she called Aydon's mama. So Aydon's mama was so nervous to speak to Jalanda that she called Michael's mama, Tracy, on a three-way to join in on this call. So Jalanda is still confused AF, trying to ask what is going on with these kids. So finally she just asked, is my effing child dead? And here she got introduced to the dial tone. Now she says she didn't know if she dropped the call or if they dropped the call. But in my personal opinion, I think they definitely dropped the call. And I think it was very intentional. Jalanda immediately began calling on her family because she didn't know what to do. She said she ran outside. She was frantic because she's in Texas and her baby is in Maryland. So she's freaking out. So finally, she was able to get everyone back on the phone, and she was able to speak to Aydon Fair. Aydon Fair said he didn't go out with Zkira, Michael, and Rhonda. So that really threw Jalanda off because here Zkira, Rhonda, and Michael had drove 20 plus hours to Maryland to celebrate Rhonda's birthday with Aydon. Made no sense. So when Jalanda finally spoke to Aydon's mama, she told Jalanda that Zkira had been drinking and driving, hit a tree, and did not survive. However, the post-mortem examination, the autopsy, the true autopsy, reflected that Zkira Kemp was in the back seat. And everyone but Zkira survived this car accident. Michael's mama, Tracy, said Michael, had serious injuries. A broken hip, a broken leg, skull fracture. Both lungs were collapsed. And he had to have open heart surgery, guys. But now this kid, I call him a kid because they're all just kids to me. But she heard Michael calling her name on the phone, asking to see her face to face when she was talking on the phone to Tracy, his mama. Jalanda said that threw her off because here he's got 2 collapsed lungs, had an open heart surgery. How is he talking this quickly? Hours after the accident, this severe accident, Jalanda says she knew then that they were lying about what happened to Zkira. Jalanda later learned that the car was engulfed in flames, with Zkira trapped inside, and neither Michael nor Rhonda tried to get Zkira out the car, but they managed to get themselves out. Jalanda didn't know what to do or say, because they didn't even mention to her that the car had caught fire. Her sister and her sister's husband came over and told her that. They also told her that they needed the dental records to identify Zkira because she was unrecognizable because she was burned so badly. And the dental records that they used were from a few years previous, just a few years previous. Now, Jalanda was told different stories about what happened after this wreck. Michael told Jalanda that where the accident happened, there was only woods and no house, so they couldn't get help. How convenient. Then Michael told her that he was able to save Rhonda from the car, but not Zkira. So with all these injuries, his hip fracture, this broken leg, these collapsed lungs, he was able to save himself. And Rhonda? Rhonda told Jalanda that all she remembers was them laughing, and then she woke up in the hospital. Again, how convenient. So Jalanda had enough at this point, guys. She got her 2 girls, best friends, and they took off by plane to Maryland. And they left on Monday, July the 15th of 2022. They were headed to see Zkira's body, but they were denied and told it was against Maryland Medical Examiner guidelines. And they also wanted to go to the crash site address that was listed in the local newspaper while they were there. Now, she remembered that Michael had told her it was in the middle of nowhere with no houses around. So Jalanda said that they were before they knew it, they were in someone's yard. And that's when they realized that that's where the accident had occurred. So Jalanda's like, well, if the house is, feet away, 50 feet away, why didn't they go there to get help? Jalanda wanted to get permission to place this little small memorial in their yard where this crash supposedly happened to honor Zkira. She had brought a picture from home. They had stopped at Walmart and got flowers. The property owners said it was fine. She said, my baby was killed in a car wreck here, blah, blah, blah. When she's out there working on the memorial in the yard, she was putting her picture of Zkira in the ground, and the woman from the house came outside and was talking to her. And she asked her, well, who is that in the picture? And she said, well, that's my daughter that was killed in this car accident. And the woman told her, no, baby, a man had come by with kids the day after the accident, and he was crying beside the tree and told her husband, the woman's husband, that his son was killed in the fire there. She said the man came out a second time and told them again that his son was killed in the fire there, and that his other son was in critical condition, and that a girl that was in this accident had walked away. Jalanda said, what? They told her the same story again. So what I want to do now is cut to the audio, because she recorded this conversation with this man. So let's cut to the audio.
I did other day when I came home one evening and everything. The guy was sitting out there and
What time is
the big guy. He was a big guy. He was sitting out there. I said, do you know them? He said, yeah, that's my son. My son got killed. And the other one got burned up. His son got burned up. And the girl and the boy was the other son went in the hospital. He went in critical condition, and the girl, I think she got hurt too, whatever like that. That's what I was told to me. That's what told to me now. He said his son got burned up, and I did not know that.
Look, come here. Look. That's my baby.
Oh my goodness.
And he said his son burned up?
He said his son, and the other son went in the hospital. He said his son in the hospital and everything, and the girl went, and she was hurt too. That he told me. And I asked him his name, whatever. Like he was saying that I felt so bad when I asked him. I said, "Do you know them?" He said, "Yeah, they're my kids. They came up to visit me, like they were 2 miles away." Whatever he told me. What? And I did not know,
He said his son died in his kids.
He said with his son and the other son in the hospital. And his daughter went to it. That we said. That what he told me.
Condition.
Yeah, that what he told me. That what he told me.
What the hell is going on?
That what he told me. Then he came back. I think he came back. But I didn't come out the other day when he came back again. He had like 3 more kids with me. Everything. I didn't come out here. I didn't know.
Hey, do you have some water so I can put this in? She bring
Well, yeah, I got water.
He had 3 more kids with him? He had 3 more kids with him? That's who left
Well,
there?
when he came out, it was like 3 kids, like a round boat.
A young
10, 12 or something like that. You know, he had 3 kids when he came back.
So why
He got a black truck. He got a black
the man, who put the liquor out there?
They did it when they came. They came. I just left alone. I left alone and everything. And he got a black truck.
Well, we from Texas. We don't even know.
Oh,
This was my baby first time ever being here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And she's the only one that didn't make it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. And he went a black. He said he lived down on the farm place down here.
Yeah.
He said he lived down there. He got a black truck. And I asked me, they said my kids. He said that were my kids. That's what he said. You know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for that. Yeah. But I asked him. He said, yeah, them were my kids. And
y'all thought a boy died.
He said a boy died. And the other son, he said, Uncle Rick will fist my kid now. My other son in the hospital.
Ain't nobody in the hospital.
I didn't know, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, you know.
I'm glad I came with you.
Yeah, whatever you told me,
He told us we're no neighbors, nowhere by. It's your house right there.
Hey, they there, yeah.
Yeah.
They there, yeah.
Instead of saying in somebody's yard, they didn't say that. They say by the time y'all came out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So they hit the mail. They was coming from.
Well, I had a mailbox. I had the paper box in my mailbox.
They probably was racing. Was it 2 cars or 1 car?
Nah, one of them one car. I don't know. He said it might have fell asleep. That's what he said. He said it might have fell asleep.
No, they probably was. Whoever was driving was drunk.
He said that's what he said. It might have fell asleep. You know.
Oh, I don't know what you do for them lights.
I'm trying to make it hard.
You need some more water? I can give you some more water.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go in there. I don't think so.
You need those.
I'll tell you what I know.
Pull that out.
Can I leave?
I got a pen. Let me drive it around.
Can I?
No, pull this out. You got to pull this out.
Now, I think it's important to tell you here that Aydon Fair's dad is a very large man. Very large. He's a former Marine. They call him Coach. He's a mentor of sorts. I've read his entire life story. It's all online. He's a pillar, if you will, of the community. And he's thought of very highly in that area. So when that guy said big man, and when they're saying big man, I'm thinking, that's Aydon's dad. I mean, maybe I'm connecting dots that ain't supposed to be connected, but something ain't right here, guys. So let's carry on with the story. At this point, Jalanda says she felt like everything was staged, planned, and excuse my language, but shit wasn't adding up. She said she could not identify Zkira's body because the medical examiner's office in Maryland told her that she had to agree to cremate Zkira's body before they released it to the funeral home. So Jalanda wanted Zkira's body, not her ashes, shipped back home. But that was not an option. She had to sign the cremation paperwork before they released Zkira to the funeral home. And the most pathetic part about all that, and the most disrespectful part about all that, is that Zkira arrived home in a FedEx box. Now, the autopsy report for Zkira stated that the body was 3 foot 3 inches tall. The right forearm was greater than the left, and both legs were amputated. However, Jalanda was shown a photo of the body that was said to be her daughter's, and that the body had legs, and actually contradicted the entire written report. Also, Zkira was over 5 foot tall. So now at this point, Jalanda's even wondering, is her daughter even dead? I mean, really. She spoke with the medical examiner. The medical examiner made some mention of the bones were not given to her, or they were taken from her. Jalanda said there was no 911 call made in regards to this car accident. Why? How did the police, fire, and EMTs know to go to this scene if nobody called 911? Now, Jalanda has made mention of Detective Brooks, who was supposed to be on this case, and also a Detective Warren Morales. They have acted very strange, not only with her sister, and also with the medical examiner, who went off the record to say that they were asking her some very bizarre questions. Guys, there's something terribly wrong with this case, and it's not being talked about. We have got to do everything we possibly can to push this case out there. I am going to be digging into this case with pretty much everything I can. And I hope that this case starts to make some kind of national news, because this needs some attention, some awareness, some spotlight, some splaining, okay? So I'm going to end the video on that note, but I am going to be doing more videos on the Zkira Kemp case. Thanks for watching, guys. Please share this video. Have a great night.